We're so glad you were able to make it to the workshop today. This workshop is being recorded. So that's good for you to know that anything you may miss, it will be emailed to you at least within a couple days. My name's Courtney Engel. I'm an instructional designer on the team. And today I have with me Joel and Angel. Joel and Angel will mainly be managing the chats for us. In this workshop, we will ask for a little bit of your engagement and follow along. You do not have to follow along, but there will be with the activities, but there will be a time allotted for your activities. So if you would like to, go ahead and take a moment to log into Canvas for us. Log in through your SSO, navigate to your dashboard. And I'm going to kind of talk to you while you do that. So one of the tools we'll be working on today is called collaborations. And when we practice making a collaboration, it'd be really nice if you were in a course that has students in it. So typically in these workshops, we recommend that you work in your sandbox. But for the sake of today, I recommend that you work in a unpublished course that has students in it. So maybe one of your fall 2023 courses. This is totally up to you. You don't have to do that. If you do it, I recommend not saving anything. I have a couple more people coming in right now, so I'm gonna do a little bit of a repeat. Good morning, Rita and Michelle. Thank you both for being here so much. This is the student engagement workshop. We're going to go over two different tools in Canvas that allow student engagement. Right now, we're just having the faculty log into their SSO Canvas credentials so that you can kind of navigate through Canvas with us. Okay. So agenda, housekeeping rules, we're going to go over them shortly. And then we have two different Canvas tools that we're going to go into. The Canvas engagement tool, the first one is called collaborations. I'm going to tell you a little bit about collaborations, then I'll demo it. Then there will be time for your hands-on practice of it. So don't feel like you have to follow along like while I'm demoing, unless that's the way you learn, but there will be immediate time for hands-on practice. And then we'll also be going over the peer review assignment feature in Canvas. Once again, I'll demo it and then I'll give you a little activity. And at the end, we'll have time for Q&A. This presentation workshop typically takes about 30 minutes, depending on how slow I go or how much participation we get from you all. So just be mindful of the fact that we will have plenty of time at the end to go over any questions. So for housekeeping, we do ask that you follow along and stay on track. For any questions during the workshop, the best way to go about it is to use the chat. I have two instructional designers here supporting the chat right now, both Joel and Angel. They can answer any questions, send you a job aid, or they might even pause me if I miss something and that can answer your question. We do ask that you fill out the evaluation at the end of the workshop. That both accounts for your attendance, which if you ever need to use that for a future thing such as hours in your department or anything such as that, it's great to have. And I ask that you save any unrelated questions for our ATS instructional design inbox. Of course, if we have plenty of time at the end, I can take unrelated questions, but for the most part, we really try to keep the workshop on focus just for all the other attendees who are here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a participation activity. And I'm going to just ask you to use the chat. And once the timer goes off, I'll ask for anybody who would like to share out. What practices have you previously implemented to include student engagement in your course? So I'm going to kind of quiet down for a minute to let you reflect, type, think, whatever it is. What practices have you previously implemented to include student engagement in your course? All right, about 5 seconds left. I see in the chat we're talking about discussion boards and breakout rooms. So lots of discussion boards, which, when I see that come in, that, a great consensus that a lot of faculty are using the same tool. I imagine that the students are doing that a lot, right? So I'm so glad you all are here today. I think discussion boards are great. And we also want to think, what other ways can I supplement engagement to truly keep them engaged, instead of a discussion board becoming another thing on their checkoff list. We want to think, what could they possibly look forward to? Would any faculty member like to share out on their experience of student engagement? Okay, that's okay. I love to see game show quiz. That's awesome. I know sometimes it can be a lot to create game show quizzes and things such as that, and seem childish, but we all love to play games, right? And it always does get us engaged. Kahoot, Poll Everywhere, those are great for game show type activities. So student engagement. There's some specific parts of this definition of student engagement that I really want to pull out. It's a measure of students' level of interactions with each other. So when we think of engagement, we think of engagement towards the course. It's also engagement from student to student. So plus the quantity of involvement. So how many times, right? We're thinking more quantity related. Are they involved? And then I want to think about the quality of effort towards their activities. And most importantly, this in part is these things lead to persistence and completion. So here at Cal State Long Beach, we are a commuter school. And we want to always think about, because we don't have a lot of our students living on campus as some other colleges, we can kind of miss out on that ability to engage our students automatically into our campus. So many of our students are working part-time jobs or full-time jobs. They don't have time to be engaged in clubs or other curricular activities. So the classroom, or the online course, whatever it is, that's like our greatest catch to really pull students in, so that they can be engaged and have persistence and completion. So the outcome of student engagement, we really want to equip the students with empathy, and that happens through collaboration. So, making efforts for ways to have things such as study groups or having a buddy in the class. These are really, really important. And we want to think about what tools in Canvas can possibly engage them in that. So we're going to look at collaborations and peer review assignments. So collaborations is a technology that has been built into Canvas. It's extremely simple. And, it has some limitations, but its simplicity is almost a gift. Basically, what it allows is for multiple users to work together on the same document simultaneously. You might think about this just as like a shared OneDrive document, which is so simple and can be imported through another aspect, but having an actual tool embedded into Canvas, a place for students to go called collaborations, is a great place for them to learn how to be engaged together. So some use cases. You might use collaborations for note-taking, maybe group note-taking. Maybe you're going to have a outside speaker come in and you want to see everybody's different perspectives on one document. Potentially, it's like a whiteboard feature in which students can brainstorm together their different ideas. Maybe they can outline what they're going to do for a group project. Or it could be like a collaborative assignment in which you have students together. Students can even be asked to share their phone numbers on it if you want them to engage together outside of just online. And really that depends if you're teaching a face-to-face or a fully asynchronous or synchronous course. I did see breakout rooms quite a bit in the chat when it came to how you all are using ideas to engage, which communicates to me that these are online courses. So this is a great tool or time for them to share their contact information. So collaboration's limitations, it does not link to the gradebook. So depending on how you're going about grading your students, this particular tool doesn't link to the gradebook. Instead, you would have the students download whatever document they're working on and turn it in. Also, it does not add to modules. So if you use a module type setup in which you want your students to click on things in consecutive order, they would have to actively either go to collaborations or you would have to embed this tool into a page. It only supports Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. You know, this can be a blessing and a curse. We are a Microsoft campus, so this is actually good in that all these tools are all tools that every student holds in common and every faculty member. So you can kind of eliminate those outside tools that maybe aren't collaborative to your computer. And the instructor cannot edit the document directly through Canvas once it's created. You have to go outside of the in the live document. And I'll show you all this momentarily, and hopefully it will kind of click better. So this is what it looks like when we navigate to collaborations. So we see in the left-hand corner, we have the type, and it's a drop-down menu. Again, it only goes to Word, Excel, and Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, our Microsoft apps. And you have the choice of either just pulling in a blank document or selecting an existing document. Maybe you used it as like a template or an outline for how you want them to draft their assignment. Document names here, description. I definitely suggest being descriptive in the instructions here because this is really such an open tool. How do you want them to collaborate? And then you just add your students here, or you can add them through their groups. So let's go ahead and have a live demo. So here I am in my dashboard. I'm going to navigate to my sandbox because I do have a few students in there. And I see this here is called my course navigation bar. Okay, just in case if you're unfamiliar, we call this over here the global navigation bar and this here the course navigation bar. When I navigate down right here, I see collaborations. This is what I'm going to click on in order to go to collaborations. So you can see this tool is very simple. Here's my previous collaboration that I've created. There's no 3 little dots to edit or anything such as that. There's just a trash can or an ability to open up the tool. I mean the collaboration. Once I'm in here, I can edit the document. So I don't have any space to edit from in here, but I can edit straight on the live document here, either as the faculty member or the student. Something I suggest if you are editing as a faculty member is to insert a comment. And by inserting comments, you have the ability to really, get in touch with the students and talk to them. So here in the right-hand corner, I can, as a student, go look at all the comments that have been made. So let's say I'm a faculty member and I want to call out one specific student and tell them I really like their note-taking, or tell them that, possibly they didn't add their phone number to the group document, etc. That's an option. This is where I'm going to go ahead and add a collaboration. So when I add a collaboration, I have the drop-down option to go to Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, or I can select an existing document. First, it opens up my shared drive. So this is all my, in my SharePoint type files. If I want to upload something from my desktop, I'm going to go in the right-hand corner to the arrow with the upload, okay? Back to external collaborations, I can type my document name here. Maybe this is called Brainstorm for Final Project. For the directions, maybe I want each student to include their telephone number. Each student includes maybe, you know, their outline, their idea of an outline, and then they can further collaborate. To add students to this, I have two options. I can just click their names here and their students that are added right here, or I can specifically add groups. I don't have any groups that are pre-created in my Canvas shell, so that's why you don't see any here. But if I had already created groups, then you would see them there. Down in the right-hand corner, I'm going to go ahead and hit save. It says, please wait launching the collaboration. You truly have to wait. I've made the mistake of not waiting, and it just doesn't include it. So here you can see brainstorm for final project, and you can see my instructions here and when I created it. Okay. All right. So now this is going to be your opportunity. This is called our Canvas collaborations activity. What I would like you to do is locate the collaborations tool in Canvas, upload a document in collaborations, add people or groups to your collaborations, and then make an edit in your live document. Okay, remember, if you're working in a course that's going to be published in the coming months, please delete this once you're done. But go ahead and take 3 minutes. I'll leave this shared on the screen. And if you have any questions, please just drop them in the chat. Yeah, I see a comment in the chat about maybe preferring to use other tools to collaborate. Well, first of all, collaborations does not work with those other tools, and that is one of its limitations. And as a professor and a course author, it's totally your choice what you would like students to use or allow students to use. If you'd prefer to have them using something such as Google Sheets, that's totally fine. But our campus just doesn't support that. So it might cause a couple hiccups in the way that it navigates into systems such as Canvas. Yeah, thank you, Angel. All right, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you're done and ready to move on. Okay. So that's our 3-minute timer. Does anybody want to share out, thank you, Michelle, about their experience or any ideas of how you might use this in your course? Michelle?
Actually, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So For collaboration, is it possible, like if students are adding notes onto one document, is it possible to see who like writes what, or is it more like anonymous?
I think it's possible to see who writes what. Joel or Angel, do you know any specifics on that?
Sorry, what was the question again?
The question is if in collaborations, if there's an ability to see which student is writing what as they are writing it. So when you're using this here, there should be an ability to see the history.
Editing. I think if you go to the live document,
Yeah, so you should be able to review the history of it. Of course, in this document, I can't see it because it hasn't been done. But if you need support with that, I can go ahead and make sure either Angel or Joel, if one of you could send a job aid or a resource over to Michelle, that'd be great.
There's also the catch up option right next to editing. That should show what changes have been made since you last visited the document, because it is associated with your Microsoft account through the school. So you'll be able to see who made what changes.
Thank you both so much for contributing, and great question, Michelle.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really helpful. Sorry. That's just
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
yeah, because I was thinking like if we wanted to make this an assignment and then you can see like who actually like added stuff to it, that would be really helpful. But thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. That's a super great question. I saw one other thing in the chat. I was unable to upload a document from my computer. Do I have to preload documents in Canvas first? When you went to upload your document from your computer, did you go select existing document? So in the right hand corner, sorry, it's not having me share both. So right up here, this upload, did you see this upload right here, Professor Annette?
Actually, no, I missed that. I didn't see that. So I was, yeah, that's the mistake.
Awesome. I'm so glad it was as simple as that. It is a little confusing and not extremely user-friendly. So my apologies on Microsoft's behalf. I'm glad we found it. Okay. Anything else before we move on to our next tool?
So I have a quick question. I know you said this already, but I'm just going to confirm it. I like using the software scriptation. So is there not, and that's not a Microsoft Word document, that's not Microsoft Word software. So does this mean that I can't use that in Canvas?
You might be able to use it in Canvas. I'm not sure about its exact collaborative abilities with Canvas, just not in the Collaborate tool. So in this particular tool, you're limited to that right here. But if you go into the modules, you can add an external URL here or an external tool, and your tool might be compatible with it. If you want to go ahead, Annette, and just hop in the chat and specifically ask either Angel or Joel, they'll be able to help you with the specific tool you're considering using, okay? All right, so moving forward, we're going to talk about the peer review assignment. So the peer review assignment allows for peer feedback between students on an assignment, and it allows for students to utilize rubrics while grading each other, right? And everything is done and housed within Canvas in an online entry. So peer review assignment options. Instructors can view the peer review, whatever has been said between students. It can be assigned automatically or manually assigned. So potentially you want to assign it particular students together, maybe a really strong student and maybe a lower student, you want to assign them together to learn from each other, or vice versa. It can be anonymous, meaning that you can have whoever's peer reviewing your other student, they don't know who their peer reviewer is. Purposes of that might be like not wanting, whatever their peer feedback is to be seen, or there might be overly compassionate towards somebody instead of really saying, maybe their edits that are coming to mind. And this can also be assigned to group assignments. So from the student view, students will receive an email notification as soon as the review is assigned. They will also be able to see it in their notifications on their dashboard or activity stream. And students must submit their own work prior to being able to comment on somebody else's work. So this is really good because it allows, for their fresh ideas only. Peer review, important notes and limitations. So students, again, they must submit their own assignment first to be able to see a peer review. This can be really strong, but depending on the setup of your class, this could be a bummer, right? Maybe you want to tell students, oh, go look at your peers if you're lost for ideas. They're not going to be able to do that. Students will not be able to see previously commented comments. This has been created this way to reduce bias. Of course, it can be a bummer if you want them to see their peers' comments, but a peer reviewer is not going to see another peer reviewer's comments on the document. So brainstorm activity, please go ahead and brainstorm in the chat or be prepared to share out what kinds of activities or assignments do you think will work well for a peer review feature in your class. Go ahead and take about 30 seconds to jot it down or share it out with us. What types of activities or assignments might you use peer review for? All right, anybody want to share out? Okay, well, peer review could be great for maybe an ELA type course if you're wanting to specifically speak to grammatical errors, or it could be really good for research. Somebody might be able to identify somebody's limitations in a research proposal, etc. There's many different ways in which you can use this. As I demo this, I want you to think about how you might use it in your course and how specific to be with your directions, because in our directions is really how we're going to mold our students' heads moving forward as a peer reviewer. So in order to create a peer review assignment, I'm going to go into my assignments and I can do one of two things. I can go in and either edit a previous assignment. This will pop up. I'm going to go to more options. And when I scroll down, let's say I already created this assignment, I see the peer review option right here. And I might want to require peer review. Another way to go about it is just to create a brand new assignment. And when I create a brand new assignment, let's go ahead and call this Essay 1. Maybe this is for an ELA course. And because this is for an ELA course, my directions might specifically talk about grammar, right? I might want my students to specifically focus on grammar. Let's say that this is a research report. My directions might be completely different. Maybe as a faculty member who's particularly focusing on research, I don't mind if my students have a couple grammar errors here and there, right? That might not be my main focus. Instead, I might be focused on how they might have limitations. I might want the students to have the hat of what are the limitations in the research? What are the drawbacks? What did the student not address? Maybe they're specifically missing population size or something of that sort. When I turn this into a peer review assignment, I need to make sure that this is an online submission because I need this assignment to go online. Text entry, website URL, and then file uploads, because I might want them to upload a file specifically, or I might want them to upload just typing out their text entry. Something good, if you didn't know this, is I can restrict their file uploads if I want to. As it's been spoken about here, some students prefer to use other platforms. Maybe you don't want to restrict their file uploads, but I have worked with quite a few faculty who they might have a specific type of file upload and they're no longer able to open it because it's not compatible with their computer. So that's an option there. Here is still an option for plagiarism review if you want to use turnitin.com, but ultimately here is my peer review. So I'm going to require peer review. I am going to either choose manually assign peer review students, or I can choose automatically assign peer review students. I can then do 1 peer review per, or 2 or 3 or more. I can also assign a date for the peer review. If you leave this blank, it will use the due date to assign the reviews. And remember, once it assigns the reviews, it will email and notify the students. For anonymity, maybe I want my peer reviews to appear anonymously. And then, of course, I will hit save down in the right-hand corner, and this will now be a peer review assignment. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and take 2 minutes to create an assignment or go into an assignment that's already been created and locate the peer review assignment settings and kind of play with how you might want to integrate this into your course. Let us know if you have any questions. All right, would anybody like to share out how they're interested in using this in their course, or maybe if they already have used this in their course? Anybody have any questions specific to the peer review activity? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on from that in that case. So just some reminders about engagement strategies in general. You know, one of the most important things in your course is always going to be you and your presence. The instructor's presence is huge, and it's what attracts students to a course and really deciphers how integrated they're going to be in the course, how much effort they're going to put into their projects, right? Your comments, your response. But secondly to that, it's connecting the students, right? If once I know the other students, my peers are looking at my work, I'm just going to put that much more effort into my work. So connecting the students, it connects the students more to the materials. It can help the materials be more organized and clear, and really allows students to see their own progress. So when we use tools such as collaborations and really peer review, students are really able to better see their progress in their course or on the assignment. So right now we're going to go ahead and show you an evaluation link. I'm going to have either Angel or Joel are going to drop that into the chat for you. Please fill that out for us. It's quick and easy, and it helps us with your attendance. So in the future, if you ever need hours for anything within your department, we'll always have this tracked for you. And in the meantime, while you're looking at that, one last thing that I really want to show you is our Canvas workshops. If you haven't already been to this site before, this is where you'll see our various workshops, and it can really help you with your building in Canvas and what kind of integrations you use. So please go ahead and utilize this to your advantage. And here's any additional resources. If you need them, let us know. At this time,